Yep. Let me come right round to you and stand and identify yourself.
Thank you. My name is Jamin Butt from the Oxford rotation. Two questions. Firstly, oops, no water. What sort of time frame between submission of articles roughly to time of publication, if everything goes right and you're among the 20% that get accepted? And secondly, most sort of trainees or clinicians aren't very good at statistics. So we have to rely on a different group of people, the medical statisticians. What sort of, reliability of information that they give back to us, how do we verify that?
Obviously, that's a variable. We try to keep that down, and we try to keep it as short as we possibly can. And one of the things that I really try and ensure is that we get the reviewers. The reviewers get sent messages every so often to remind them to send in their reviews. And if they haven't sent it in by a particular time, either I will review it myself, or I'll get one of the associate editors, or we'll get somebody else to do it who I know will send the review in very quickly. So we have lots of ways of trying to cut it down. So if you send in a paper, it's reasonable to get an answer back of some sort within 21 days. And I think we are as good as any other journal with that. Once the paper is accepted, it should appear online in its corrected version, assuming that you've sent back the corrections, in about 6 weeks. Okay? Statistics. Yes, you are dependent on the statistician in your institution. Yes, you may never have spoken to him or her before. Yes, it can be a risky business. If you look at some of the studies that appear, say, in the New England Journal of Medicine, there will be half a page of statistical methods in the thing. They demand that you tell us what they are. We haven't done that, but most people are beginning to send in the methods, so they have to get statistical advice from that. How do we verify them? We've got 2 statisticians who review for us, who are paid to do this. And so if there's any question raised by either me, the associate editor, or any of the reviewers, it gets sent off to them, and they will review it. Okay. Any other question? Yeah.
Ahmed Kisha, South Thames trainee. Just regards to the type of paper, do you give a percentage for the type of basic science papers you accept and the clinical papers that you accept, or you don't differentiate between the two?
No. The answer is no. We don't. We do not decide on whether a paper will be accepted or not, whatever its topic. It just so happens that if you look at the various sections, urological oncology and investigative urology are the 2 best supported. Following that is the laparoscopic and lower urinary tract and sexual medicine after that. And then finally, the pediatric and reconstruction one, and the upper urinary tract. They're the 2 lowest, understandably, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Kieran, and then come around to yourself. Yeah.
I just want to challenge Hashim a little bit about the beggars can't be choosers comment. One of the issues that I come across time and time again is trainees coming along and you're doing an educational contract with them, and they have a project that has been festering away for a couple of years that they're supposed to have completed and then write up, and it's part of what they're supposed to do. And the big problem was that their boss had this brainstorm, told them to go away and do this project, and they've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to sort it out, and they're not in a position to do it. And I think what people really need to do is to get some advice locally about whether the project is doable before they expend a vast amount of energy trying to do something that they can't deliver on. There's more a comment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for projects it's very difficult. You have to take one at a time. In terms, I'm talking sort of more in terms of review articles, or if you're working for a professor of urology who gets invited to write a lot of review articles, then I think that's a good place to start. And don't say no, I can't do it because I don't have time. You just have to find the time. And personally speaking, you take time away from your family. You have to work on weekends. You have to work on the evenings. And that's how you'll get the papers, or even if you're operating, between cases. So I think you have to find the time to write it if you're starting at the beginning. But I think once you've reached a stage where you're publishing a lot of papers, then you can you can be picky as to what you would be writing. But in terms of project, it's very difficult to do more than one project at a time, especially if it's a clinical trial.
Thank you.
Hello, Asad Ali, Freedom Hospital, Newcastle. I was wondering if I could get some insight from Professor Fitzpatrick regarding review articles, because obviously they're a slightly different kettle of fish to a standard research article. Now, an invited review article is one thing, but you alluded to before writing to the editor to get permission to submit a review article. What kind of things would you be looking for to accept a review article? Because it's not going to be original. At the end of the day, you're reviewing someone else's work.
Yeah, no, I agree. Don't forget, let's say you're doing a laboratory research project, and let us say, for example, it's on apoptosis in prostate cancer, for example, and you're specifically looking at some drug that induces it. Well, then I think the review article that you would select would be the generality. In other words, in some ways, the discussion in your thesis would be the thing that you would look at. Something that would that would encompass the general reading that you've been doing to back up your work. That's the sort of thing that would be a good review article. For example, people who work with us in the laboratory, we always encourage them, before they actually publish the work on their thesis, to publish a review article if they can first.
Does the experience or notoriety of the reviewer come into it?
The experience and
the famousness or the notoriety of the reviewer come into your choice in terms of, if someone is submitting a review article, would you expect that person to be well known within that field, or one of the authors to be well known within that field?
No, I think notoriety is an interesting word to use, and I think probably
I say that tongue in cheek.
I know you do. Actually, no. Now, it's slightly different here. We would, that's the new review section I was talking about. Yes. Although that famous, notorious person may suddenly decide, well, I'll get one of my junior guys to write this, and that's fine.